Well, hey there, dead and lovely listeners. It's the brand newest installment of the podcast that you're listening to right now. Why, it's Dead and Lovely here with the host with the most. It's me, your Vaseline KY covered buddy, Uncle Ben.
And me, your guy who's got a fist going from his anus through his mouth, Hollywood Steve.
Squelchy Wood Steve. Shunty Wood Steve. And we're all dolled up for you guys today because we are talking about Society.
That's right. It's an Italian film, right?
Society. You know, it's about the old country.
It's about a type of pasta that we don't get here. It's shaped like sea anemone.
Oh, it's totally different.
Yeah,
you know, and if you make a food with it, it's totally different than using some other noodle shape.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
of course. Okay, but there are certain kinds of noodle shapes you should use for certain purposes.
Oh, absolutely.
It is true.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
not interchangeable.
For sure. I mean, listen, when people make a mac and cheese with penne pasta, and I know some of you just did this. This is coming out after Thanksgiving. Some of you just did this. And guess what? It's fine.
It's fine.
But you messed up. You done fucked
blew
up. You blew it.
You done blew it.
Yeah, yeah. There's several other pasta shapes that work fine, but penne just doesn't do it.
What if you just went total rogue wild card for Thanksgiving and you showed up with like goddamn linguine mac and cheese and just pissed everybody off? It's just weird.
Yeah, you're just cutting it into big squares. It's just fucking...
Who wants some?
Who wants a big square of fucking goop?
That would be so unappealing.
It really does sound bad, but I bet it would taste good.
Sounds bad.
I bet it would taste good. If it's done well, you could make it fine. But I don't. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Listen, this is the premium mac and cheese recipe podcast.
Yeah,
that
obviously.
we got going on out here. We call it Max and Cheese because we're two Macs.
Mac and Cheesely.
That's a slang word from the 90s, meaning that women find us attractive.
I love how you started doing these recaps on the show because of our burgeoning 14-year-old listening audience, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like last time you were like Tool Time as a reference to Home Improvement.
I think you'd be surprised how much of the stuff we reference needs to be explained to 30-year-olds.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, I was homeschool. I know what we're talking about.
That's a good point.
I know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, even the homeschooler knows what we're talking about, so catch up.
Yeah, you damn right. If you want to get straight to the Society talk, there's a timestamp for you in the podcast description. Before we do that, we're going to do our usual catch-up, chin wag, preview palace shenanigans, and all of that jazz. Dude, I'll tell you what. I hope that you guys can appreciate that I'm going full zombified for this horror podcast. Yeah. I am a zombie right now.
Yeah.
I haven't had a fucking regular ass night's sleep in, I think, about 5 days or so, which I know anybody that's listening to this is like newborn kids is like, oh, you poor fucking thing.
Right.
I know. I am also a huge baby about losing sleep, man. I have been just sleeping like shit. Listen, y'all with newborn kids and stuff, I don't know how you fucking do it. I don't know. Dude, like the idea of not sleeping well several nights in a row and then also being asked to take care of a helpless human being. Yeah. No way.
And
I drop it down the steps.
They just love to scream. Yeah, I know. No, I also, I don't know if it's something in the air, and it would have to be in a lot of air to get coast to coast here. But I've also been having a lot of sleep issues this week. Just having a lot of trouble getting to sleep.
It could be something to do with them chemtrails. I seen some chemtrails above my place the other day.
Okay, yeah, they're out again with those chemtrails. That's probably what it is.
You seen some?
Yeah, I think I saw one and it had a big, like, it was carrying one of those signs, you know, behind it, and it said Biden did this.
Wouldn't it be amazing if one of these days, like, Bill Gates remarried and he remarried some woman named Kim Trails?
I would love that.
All the conspiracy theorists would be like, I knew it. They ain't even hiding it no more. He's married to Kim Trails.
Kim Trails. I love this. This is a great idea. Bill, get at us. We have ideas.
Man, like, I've been sleeping really good lately, but this all got kick-started last week when our little furry man, Turkey, here at the house, our little boy, he ate something funky off the streets or something. He had some bad old turkey tummy time for a couple of days there. So I was up at all hours of the night letting him out. And, I live in the city, so that means putting on clothes, putting the leash on, wandering around the city, letting this dog spray shit all over the sidewalk at all hours of the night. So that kind of got me sleeping bad a few times. And then I had a tummy ache. I got a sympathetic tummy ache.
Aww.
And then I think since then I've just kind of forgotten how to do it. How do you do it? Do you start with the eyes open?
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to do eyes open, feet in the air.
Feet in the air. Should I say still or wiggle?
Wiggle a lot. Don't stop moving.
See, I've been wiggling a lot, so maybe I'll try wiggling around more with my eyes wide open tonight.
Yeah, eyes wide open, wiggling around a lot, and just if you can get into Kate's face like real close with your eyes wide open while you wriggle.
Oh, okay, that's a great idea. Keep my wife up too.
Yes, yeah.
So she'll sleep better.
She'll sleep better because of that happening, and also like probably she'll scream real loud, which will make you tired. Somehow?
Yeah. Oh, man, I hear a scream. I got right to sleep. Yeah.
Don't we all?
I'll try all those, man. I'll try all. Dude, I'm desperate. I think I'm going to take like 2 Benadryl, a melatonin. I'll probably smoke weed out of my butt.
Good call.
Like, I'm going to do it all.
The butt weed smoke idea, is it... You're butt chugging weed here?
I'm gonna butt chug weed.
Okay. I was wondering. Yeah. So is this a new thing that you're hearing about? The kids are doing. Okay.
Totally. Let me explain it to all the kids. It's weed through your butt.
Weed through your butt. The best way.
Yeah, man. That's right. I also got my damn old flu shot and my COVID booster today, so I just got all kinds of fucking things flowing through my body and veins right now. I think I'm going to give it some company and crack open a co-beer. That way I can get everything good and
good
in the company. Be like, hey, microchips that I just put in my body, tracking mechanisms and microphones. It's party time. Let's get you all drunk. Get yourself a beer in you. I don't let nobody in me unless they had a beer in them first. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Bill Gates.
Get a beer in you if you want to get into bed.
I'm having myself a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
That's not a bad call. I like me a Sierra Nevada. They tend to fuck.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. What about you? You been doing some sleeping and waking this week? You been doing both those?
You know what? I tried to just do, like, I woke and then I tried to wake again. Like, double woke. Didn't wake.
Oh, man. Double woke, double broke. That was your mistake, brother.
Don't wake. Yeah. So... Yeah, no, I've been sleeping. I've been waking, all that stuff. Just pasteurized some wine last night. It's looking pretty tasty. Gonna be trying that out in about a week. Other than that, just been chillaxing. Took a whole bunch of mushrooms last night. That was fun.
How'd that go? That's some of them legal Portland mushrooms, ain't they?
Well, kind of. Okay,
all right.
Technically, it is not illegal here in Portland.
Nice.
So it's hard. It's not exactly to the level of like medical marijuana or anything where you can easily get it still, but not illegal.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, you can't buy them, but you can have them. Wink, 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 wink. Yeah,
exactly.
I've still never shroomed before, man. How'd that go for you?
It's fun. They were pretty mild. We had a great time though. We just sat around goofing, having a good time, watching Over the Garden Wall. That was a good choice.
God.
Yeah.
So good. I almost restarted that the other day, dude.
Yeah, I get it. You should. I mean, watching it again, I think it was the third time I've watched it. It's great, man. It's just a great time. So, yeah.
If I had $1 for every time we have played or sung Potatoes and Molasses in this household over the past few months,
awesome.
A rich man I would be. I'd be a member of society even.
And
I couldn't do this podcast because I'd be shunting.
Together.
Whoa, it's weird.
Yeah.
So good, man. Yeah, I need to try me a shroom sometime. That's
Absolutely.
One of those things that I think the biggest thing that's put me off about it right now is I know a lot of people get the throw uppy when they do it.
Oh, well, we've come a long way, baby. We ate shroom chocolates.
Okay.
Yeah, I think mostly people get throw uppy because of the texture and taste. of mushrooms.
I love mushrooms.
Well, the psilocybe mushrooms are not. They're dried. You're not eating fresh, delicious mushrooms, and also they taste a lot like dirt.
I'd put them on a pizza.
Yeah, people do that. Yeah, you put them in stuff, etc. Or just you put
them in chocolate.
Grind them up, put them in chocolate or whatever. Yeah, yeah, we had them in chocolates. It was a fun time, and the chocolate was great too. So
hell yeah, nice.
Double plus. So that's what we've been up to this week. What about you?
Man, not a lot. It's actually not been that many days since we recorded the last podcast. Our schedule's been kind of funky lately, so about all that I have done is work on some tunes, work on some video stuff, attend a lovely Friendsgiving with some dear buddies, and I've watched just a thing or two, man. We watched a Sinbad comedy special that was on the Netflix right now. What's called Afros and Bell Bottoms. Now, it's from, I think, late 80s, early 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Of course it is. It's Sinbad. Yeah, he's very funny.
Dude, I don't think I'd ever watched any of his stand-up. I think I just, seen him in movies and shit, but legit hilarious. And this sounds like such a fucking prudish boomer thing to say, but it was only hours after we watched it I realized I laughed my ass off at that, and it was clean. Dude didn't even need to resort to anything nasty to keep me in stitches.
There's reason for that. It's because if you could put together a good tight clean 5 minutes in LA throughout the 80s, you could get a sitcom.
Oh, the old Type 5. Yeah. I've heard about this.
So, yeah. I think he definitely elevated it. He's very good. Sinbad, he's got a great energy. He's very, very funny guy. Yeah, I loved that special as a kid. It was one of my faves.
So funny, man.
But not to the level of Eddie Murphy's specials or whatever, where he's dirty as shit. So,
and it's hysterical, right?
But that might be because I was a kid and it was tee dirty. Rewatching them now, I might be Sinbad's is more refined. I don't know though.
Only one way to find out, man.
Yeah, I have to check them out. Yeah.
We've been watching a bunch of Thanksgiving specials. We're recording this the week of Turkey Day, so we've been watching through all the Friends Thanksgiving specials, which we're suckers for, and all the Bob's Burgers ones, which are the actual best, dude.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and I know I've probably said it every year on the show, the Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episode where Bob has to go rescue Gail out in the snow.
Yes.
That's probably the best Thanksgiving episode of anything of all time.
It's so good. It is so good. Yeah, I don't love Gail, but I love Gail, the character.
Oh, dude. She's the best. Also, I would never want to hang out with somebody like her
at
ever.
all. But Megan Mullally's killing it because that character is still so funny, even though you're God, this would suck to be around her.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
So good, man. And Kate and I went and saw that new Eli Roth. Is that I say that right? Am I pronouncing it right?
Eli Roth.
A new Eli Roth movie, Thanksgiving, which we did a mini-sode on the other day. God damn it. It is so fucking good, dude. I hate that it really only came out a week before Thanksgiving. People should have been enjoying this movie all month long. It is so fucking good, dude. And I'm not an Eli Roth guy. I'm honestly kind of neutral about him because I actually haven't seen that many of his movies.
Right.
I've not seen Hostel, Green Inferno, a lot of those really well-known ones. So I'm actually pretty neutral about the guy. This one was fan-fucking-tastic. You really need to see it.
All right, I'll check it out. I'm interested. I remember the original fake trailer. That was cool. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested.
You'll like it a lot, man. That's about all that I've had time to do, man. It's been a pretty busy one, and fixing to coast into a pretty chill Thanksgiving, I think, with my wife's family. Knocking on wood right now. Hopefully it will be more chill than last year's, which is when Kate's mom had shoulder surgery the day before Thanksgiving. So she was just totally drugged and zonked on the couch. And Kate's dad cut off his fingertips on a mandolin slicing potatoes. Cut his fingertips clean off. Blood everywhere. Yeah. Absolutely everywhere. So I think it should be more chill than that.
What is that guard for on the mandolin? Even
ain't nothing.
Just throw that away. You don't need it.
What? You don't want to go see your favorite ER nurse? Of course you do.
Of course you do. Yeah. No, we've watched some fun stuff. We've been watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because we finished 30 Rock, and Anna was like, I wish there was more 30 Rock. And I was like, there kind of is. And then, as well as that, we watched The House Bunny, which is from like 2008. It's Anna Faris, Emma Stone, Kat Dennings.
Cast, damn.
Yeah. It's really fun. I had a blast with it. I thought it was really fun, funny. Anna Faris is so funny.
She's
and
great.
Then like her and Emma Stone are really good together. You can tell they're having a blast. So I think like if you never saw House Bunny, I never did. I don't know why. I think I had seen like stills from it or like gifs from it, but I had never I didn't know anything about it. It's funny, very funny. Had a fun time with it. And it's like an hour and a half, so that's like perfect time for a comedy, I think.
Hell yeah.
We also watched Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
I don't know the last time I saw that. That's probably been college years, man. How's that one hold up? Yeah, not really.
Yeah, it's definitely got some like real good stuff about like race and whatnot. I feel like I think they're really addressing a lot of like race issues throughout without like being overt. In a way that I guess the stoners of the mid 2000s could easily
That's because
like,
that was a for woke and a for Biden, Steve.
Right.
That's why.
And yeah, there's definitely like still funny parts, and then there's other parts where it's like, I don't know.
Okay.
It's I mean I don't know though. I still the parts that are funny are very funny for sure. So there's that definitely.
All right.
Also watched, as I said, Over the Garden Wall, and a movie called City of Ember, which it was a young adult novel series. It's basically like dystopian Harry Potter without any magic.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm sure the books are more interesting, but the movie itself, even with Saoirse Ronan and Bill Murray and several other people in the cast, it's just a really predictable, not very interesting flick. Which
not selling me on it.
yeah, kind of. It sucks that it seems like there were. Like Anna said, she had read the novels and that they were way different, more like. Deep, had some depth to it, and they just kind of cut that out of the movie, which is not the way to go if you're trying to please your fans. And if you're not trying to please your fans, then you're trying to please people who don't know anything. And I feel like watching it was like, well, if as a person who doesn't know about these novels, this just feels like Harry Potter reskinned.
Well, and the problem is too is then it probably doesn't make you want to read the books either.
No,
so it's just like,
absolutely
well, fuck
not.
this whole thing. I don't care. Well, anybody likes it.
Yeah, that's it. You got to kind of, when you're doing an adaptation, you got to kind of think about, well, I got to please the audience that knows these, but I also need to please people who have no idea what these are, and maybe make them want to read the book so that they'll want more sequels.
That's right, man.
Yeah, they failed at that in this.
Speaking of which, I need to read that new Hunger Game. I want to check that out. I want to give it a shot.
Game. Yeah, I like the Hunger Games. I mean, I have not read the books. I just know the concepts, and it's anti-capitalist. So yay, go Hunger Games.
Books are pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Books are pretty good.
Yeah. On Friday night, we watched Subspecies on the Screamin' Chat over there on Dixord. Yeah,
nice.
I didn't really pay much attention. I was making food, but
now which one was it?
Subspecies.
Is it about a race of aliens that are also sandwiches? Because that'd be awesome.
Huh. I didn't.
Subspecies.
You know what? Maybe I missed that. Maybe somebody who did pay attention to the whole movie can chime in here. I think it's possible that is what was happening. Yeah, that there were some hints that perhaps these vampires were also part submarine sandwich. No garlic. Oh.
I'll bet they can do a crossover flick with the Gabagoolies too, right?
Yeah, but I bet they have to be real careful about crossing over each other, as it would be two sandwiches making a cross, which would kill them instantly.
Okay, yeah, it might repel them, like, huh? Ooh, difficult. Interesting. High stakes.
Yeah, I want that. Let's get that going. We're gonna make
that
this
going
now.
already. Got to crowdfund this one.
Yeah. Also on Sunday, I just decided, hey, what if we just watched a fun movie? So we watched Vampires versus the Bronx over there on the Ice Cream Sunday, and it was a fun time. As always, I mean, just like this movie we're talking about today, message is pretty clear, pretty overt.
Yeah.
All these
pretty overt, yeah.
white people, developers coming in and buying up all the property in an area and driving out the people who have ties there. It's terrible. It sucks. We don't want that, and it's bad. And they're vampiric.
And it's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie definitely is fun, too, because, the kids are all, doing a good job with their characters. But you also got that kid with the ghost shirt, which went over well in the chat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Nice. That's fun, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good week of watching right there.
Yeah, we had a fun time.
Man, I was thinking about it earlier. So I was talking with somebody about, how many great horror flicks came out last year. X, Pearl, Barbarian, Bones and All. Like, there was some really killer shit that came out last year. 2023? Less so, huh? Like, I don't know that I've seen a ton of, like, in theaters horror stuff that really blew my mind to the level of, Barbarian or X. It's been a bit softer year. There's been some cool stuff released on streaming, and there's still some things I need to watch. Like When Evil Lurks. I need to check that one out. I've heard that one's really sick.
Okay, yeah. That one's on one of the streamers. Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. Yeah, I'm looking through movies that have come out this year, and I think I agree with you. I hadn't really thought about it.
It's not been a stellar year for horror.
No, but there's been a lot of horror movies for sure.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, you're right. No, there's not a lot of standouts, a lot of great movies. People definitely liked Talk to Me an awful lot. And
okay. I totally stand corrected. Talk to Me was really good. I like Talk to Me a lot.
Yeah, but again, like, that's not... Yeah, you're right. It's not on the same level, but that's okay. I mean, I think maybe a writer's strike and a Screen Actors Guild strike might have something to do with that.
Yeah, because usually horror flicks are turned around pretty quick. So we are probably feeling the effects of that. You are correct.
Yeah, but I think
maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe the end of next year we'll see a lot of good stuff, but also like stuff like we know Ty West's Maxine should be coming. Either,
that's right.
Early to mid next year. So. That's cool. You're right, though. I hadn't really considered it, but looking back on the whole year, not a lot of standouts. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, at least we can always count on the 80s to bring us some really ridiculous shit to talk about, like Society, the subject of today's show. And I think before we start breaking this very normal movie down, how about we just enter into the preview palace here for a little potpourri palace action.
Welcome to the preview palace.
Ooh, potpourri edition. Society waits for you. God, I am fucking zombified, dude. My brain is running on like
just now,
one cylinder. I'll give it another swing later. Yeah, we couldn't really decide on like one particular topic to talk about for this movie because there's just a lot of things about it. It was kind of hard to zone in on one. So times like these are great to enter into a potpourri palace and cover a myriad of topics related to this film. Now, Steve, this film, what we are talking about today, it's got one hell of a society in it. In fact, they're a secret society. They're a secret society. They're giving you candy to fix your sore throat.
That's
secret
right.
Society.
It seems like you got a sore throat. Here's a cherry lozenge. That's right.
Oh, my God. Don't tell anybody, Let me ask you, Steve, you got any favorite secret societies out there? There's a lot to choose from.
Boy, yeah, there sure are.
Your original name on the show, of course, was Skull and Bones Steve.
That's right.
Because you are a member of the Skull and Bones.
Yeah, but then every time...
Walter State.
Yes, every time you would say my name, I'd have to stand up and leave the room, so that wasn't really beneficial to the podcast. Yeah.
You left the room so much you went to dang Portland.
I just kept walking. I kept leaving one room and then walking into the next until, boom, across the country.
Until you Forrest Gumped.
I did.
You gumped it.
I was going to turn around and do it again, I guess. I think there's of course the Illuminati. Interesting, of course, if you really get into the idea of them being like lizard people whose eyes blink sideways. That's fun. I like that idea. And I think, honestly, society is probably building off of some of that belief that was already present by this point. So it may be Illuminati. But I think, to me, it's definitely the, what do you call it, the Masons.
Yep, that's my answer. Okay. I'm a good old-fashioned Freemasonman myself, man. I went through a big phase kind of around college era where, me and Mitch and a couple other people just really went down the rabbit hole on trying to learn as much as we could on the burgeoning internet, which was, of course, entirely factual and true
Absolutely.
Back then.
100%.
Absolutely. So learning about their rites and rituals and the 33 degrees and how many historical figures have been Freemasons, but then every time you meet one, it's just some like fat old guy that seems kind of nice. Like,
yeah, it doesn't seem like this guy's running the world, but whatever.
No, sure. And then like Dan Brown, like with Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons and all that shit, really got interest perked up on that. So it's just fun, man. Again, how much of it is true? Don't know. Honestly, don't really care.
Yeah. I don't really care either. If the Masons are running the world, I just wonder what happened to bricklaying. Like,
you know what? Yeah.
I just don't see a lot of brick buildings being built anymore. And when you do, it's often like a brick facade. It's not even real brick.
It seemed like about everybody I know what's had a retaining wall built around their driveway, around their homestead. In the past 10 or 15 years or so, it ain't even lasted that long. Listen, y'all Masons, if y'all are out there ruling the world, let's be honest here, not your best work.
Right.
Okay?
You're really
Things
slacking.
are not exactly going great right now.
Try to remember your original avenue was...
Y'all were good at that.
What if we take this brick and this goop and this other brick and just mush them together and see what happens?
Let me tell you the magic of the cornerstone. That's what they said back then.
Yes, that's what they would say.
They're great at it.
Yeah.
Great at it. Like, I'm not at all complaining about their work back in the day.
No, it was so good. Some of it's still standing. It's amazing. Yeah. Way to go, Masons. But
impressive.
Come on, Come on.
Pick back up the bricks and mortar. Get that trowel and compass in your hand. Give up the positions of power. Give us some good, strong walls around here, all right?
I agree. Let's do it. Masons, come on.
Now, Steve, in this movie, we see... at this big old orgy party what these crazy-ass people's having, somebody's done brought a big old plate of slugs to the party as some whores devours.
Don't want that.
That ain't my kind of party snack. I don't come into the party bringing a damn old plate of slugs, do you?
No, unless I want to get kicked out of the party.
You go into a party, man. What's the signature snack? What are you bringing? What are you going to lay on them to just steal the thunder of the host and make them thankful they invited you?
Listen, I do a damn good buffalo chicken dip.
Chuffalo Bickin, huh?
And one of the things you got to understand about buffalo chicken dip is you can only fancify it so much before you ruin it.
Yeah, you can only gild the lily so much.
Yeah, you got to go largely with exactly... the original stuff. You can do some Neufchâtel instead of cream cheese if that's your bag, but I haven't noticed a major difference. You can make your own ranch dressing if you want, but why? You're going to put it into a big old like fucking goop that's just going to sit and get warm, and you're not going to taste ranch dressing. It's all going to come together to make this delicious awesome. Like, honestly, you can't even really beat canned chicken for it. Because if you use a rotisserie chicken, you get big chunks of chicken. And nobody wants a big chunk of chicken. You want a goop. You want a goop.
Ooh, give me that goop.
Yeah. So,
and I heard that actually that's how they did the sound effects for the shunting scene in the movie is at the wrap party. They put a microphone around the buffalo chicken dip bowl and just captured all the sound of everybody squelching in that dip.
Yeah, it would do it because it does. Boy, it's that WAP. It's that wet ass pussy sound for sure.
Now let me ask you the critical question: if you're going to divulge your secret here, what's the hot sauce of choice?
Listen, you cannot beat Frank's Red Hot for that recipe.
Okay,
also,
that's the right answer.
You honestly
Right
can't
answer.
beat Frank's Red Hot for a lot of applications.
Yeah.
Like,
it's fucking great.
and we've talked about hot sauce a lot on this recently.
We have.
Like, Crystal is great, but it is not Frank's Red Hot for certain things. Like, even though
Right,
they're
it
both
is,
vinegar-based sauces, Frank's Red Hot's got more going on in there. And that little bit of extra body is good for some other things. I'm telling you, we should just start a hot sauce podcast.
That's actually a pretty strong idea. Yeah. That's a good call, man. That's definitely going to get you some compliments at the shindig if you arrive with that thing as your vittles, huh?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, nobody ever complains when you bring a well-done buffalo chicken dip. What about you?
I'll tell you the strategies, all right? If I'm going homemade and I want to go in there and just soak up all the attention, I want to show up and just pull all the oxygen out of the room and take it for my damn self.
Yeah.
I'm rolling in with my signature spinach artichoke dip. What'll blow your dick off.
Yeah, I've had it.
It makes dicks explode.
It's really good. It does.
It's so easy.
I used to have a dick until I had that.
Not
and
anymore.
then I was like, you know what? Worth it.
Worth it. Honestly, yeah. And then the next time that you have it, it's like, well, dick's already exploded, so I can just enjoy this dip now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of the thing you got to get past. Is the first bite, your dick is going to explode.
Sure. But after that, smooth sailing.
After that, you can eat all you want. No more dick to explode.
It's real easy, too, because it's all just like, prepackaged proportions where it's like a tub of sour cream, a block of cream cheese, a stick of butter, a couple garlics in there, some fresh jalapeno,
delicious,
some chopped up artichoke hearts, a frozen spinach block.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing really wild, like a bag of pre-shredded Parmesan cheese. It's all really simple, just garbage that you throw in a pot together, and boom, you're the hit, and you're getting dicks blown up left and right all over the place.
Everybody's like, no sex tonight or ever again.
More dips, though.
More
for
dips,
sure.
yeah. Well, then you might as well just eat all the dips. Because I know all of us, when somebody brings a dip to a party you haven't had, you're like, fuck, is my dick going to explode?
Is it going to do it? Is this the time?
Is going to do it? I don't know. I don't know if I want to try this. Yeah. So this will get you past that. You won't have to worry about that. You just try all the dips. Just go to a dip party.
Well, that's the origin of the famous philosophical debate, dickin' or dunkin'. Which one do you want to do, right? You want to be dickin' or you want to be dunkin'? Well,
I mean,
you got to choose.
You got to pick one. You can't go in, but what are you going to dinkin'? Are you dinkin'? No. Are you ducking? What did you fucking autocorrect? Come on, guy.
Right. Blowing it, man. So that's my homemade rat. Now, if I'm going out on a limb and I ain't got a time and I've got a little bit of money burning a hole in my pocket going jing-a-ling-a-ling, I'll tell you the two moves you do. You can do either of these anytime. You ready for this?
Okay, let's hear it.
You can go to your local sushi monger and just order like 4 fucking California rolls or whatever.
Sure. You can.
You can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can give you a bunch of chopping sticks and a bunch of little salt sauce packets.
Sure.
People get their minds blown. That's a great choice.
That is a great choice. I never thought about that. Yeah, you just bring...
You can do that.
A few rolls. Yeah, everybody can pick up some sushi. There you go.
Option number 2, you can go to your local taco monger, get yourself some chips, salsas, and a cheese dip.
Sure.
Goddamn, you're going to be a hit.
You will.
That's going to turn that party into a fiesta.
And I'd like to go back to your sushi idea, just in case you don't know. Rolls and several sushi options, all meant to be eaten with your hands.
That's true, too.
It's
and
weird.
They're like single-serving bites.
Yeah.
It's already pre-cut and everything for you.
Yeah, it's weird that Americans are so like proud of themselves for being able to like pick up sushi with chopsticks. It's like, yeah, that was a good exercise in using chopsticks, but you didn't need to do that. You just pick it up. That's what it's meant to. I remember when I learned that from an episode of Good Eats. And I was like, I'm going to try this next time I'm having some sushi. And I did, and I was like, holy shit. It just makes all the sense in the world when you pick it. Like, it's like, there's nothing. You are not squeezing it. Like you would.
And you can control the dunk in the soy sauce if it's a dunker.
Yes, it's so perfect. Just pick it up with your hand. Try it. Just try it.
That was on the Wake Up Little Sushi episode, if I recall.
Great one.
I love Alton Brown. That's a guy that, like, just a little side tangent here, if anybody knows me from a YouTube channel, That's an influence most people don't know, is how much of an influence Alton Brown is on my channel. Like the way that I watched his show when I was a kid and like learned stuff, but it was also kind of sassy, but it was also kind of scientific and smart, but it was also fun. That's my entire education model is fucking Alton Brown. So
no, I think he influenced so many YouTubers that
that
are I would say my favorites to go to when I need like a recipe or to learn something specifically. If they use that sort of Alton Brown model of like not being too serious about it, but also being serious, like having all the information, but
knowing
also,
your shit. Right.
You know, also just making it fun to learn. It's great.
Totally, man. Totally. Now, let me ask you this, Steve. There's a lot of people in this here movie. What's going around just about everywhere, and dang old smoking their cigarettes. Just smoking it up, son. Now, we grew up in the 80s, in the 1980s, which means everybody be smoking. Everybody be smoking. Now, by the time I rode my first aeroplane, there wasn't nobody smoking in there.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I've been around a lot of smoking places. What do you think is the grossest place that people used to be smoking right here in the United States of America?
Well, the one that stood out to me is when they were all smoking around or in the pool.
Okay, for starters, the idea of smoking when it's really hot outside and in the sun has always been disgusting to me.
It's all gross.
I've never smoked in my life a cigarette.
Extra gross, yeah.
Yeah. So then you're saying around the pool, it's even worse.
Yeah, because I don't know how many people are 80s-ish kids or before, but I remember having to avoid cigarette butts in the pool.
That is the nastiest fucking thing I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, that, like, the shunting has nothing on that.
Nothing.
That is revolting.
It's so gross. I don't know what it is about a wet cigarette that just makes it instantly 50 times grosser. But, like, ugh. Anyway, so yes, watching that made me it brought me back to that place of like, oh my God, there's cigarette butts in the pool.
That's awful.
Yeah, but I think, honestly, the worst place that people used to smoke was parents just smoking in a fucking unventilated car.
Oh, yeah.
That
just
was the worst.
How in the fuck was it like, oh, Discovery, secondhand smoke is bad too? It's like, no shit, idiot. You're breathing it. You're breathing it in the same as they are.
Yes. You wouldn't start a campfire in your car. Like, what?
So nasty, dude. Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate that. I absolutely hate being in cars with people smoking.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Man, the days of the smoking section in the restaurant, which is just hilariously stupid anyway,
it is.
because as if having a fucking,
tiny partition
barrier, kind of partition is going to keep smoke from going around and above and through.
Yeah,
ridiculous, dude. Like eating food while breathing in somebody's smoke.
It's the worst. Oh God, I grew up I remember because my mom and my grandmother both ran restaurants when I was growing up, and this was when smoking in restaurants was very normal. Just seeing people smoking while eating.
Oh, yuck, dude.
Just a cigarette in one hand, fork shoveling eggs into their stupid face in the other. Ugh.
And there's also like the old school romanticized image of like your diner chef back there, scrambling up some hash browns with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth above the flat top. Like that turns my stomach to think about.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
Ugh.
So no, those are all terrible places that smoking used to be very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real answer is literally anywhere that humans are.
Yeah, it's just not.
Don't.
Yeah, listen, I'm not trying to make people feel bad, but you definitely don't force people to smell your smoke.
Be considerate.
I fully embrace vaping. I know some people are like, I don't want to walk through your vape cloud either, and it's like, well, I don't want to walk through someone's vape cloud necessarily, but it has no effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm cool with that. Please do that. Vaping. Yay. Go vaping.
It's better.
It's way better.
Now, one of my favorite parts about this flick is checking out our man William Warlock's sick ass convertible Jeep that he's got.
Yeah.
William Warlock.
What a name. Yeah.
It sounds way sick.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Dude, that black Jeep he's got in this is
awesome.
baller.
It is. It is awesome.
Really sick.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you think is the coolest fucking movie car? If you could just like pluck any movie car out of the air and have it, what would it be? Because for me, I have always wanted the goddamn Jurassic Park Ford Explorer. With that paint job and stuff on it. Fuck yeah, dude. I want a damn guitar decked out with the Jurassic Park Explorer look on it. I think it's so fucking sick.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, I've seen people do custom paint jobs like that, and it's that's cool, I guess. I think there's a million different movie cars you could go with, and
the Wraith.
That was the first one that came to mind, but no
way.
Yes, it was, because it's like Trapper Keeper car, and I love, like, as a kid, I loved that late 80s, early 90s futurism look that sports cars had. It. But
there's nothing stopping him from just making normal cars look like that. Let us have some goddamn fun.
Yes, it'd be so cool. But the car that I absolutely would want to have, and every time I see it, it is like, yes, that car, so cool, I want it. It is Han's car in Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. It's a 97 Mazda RX-7 FD.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love muscle cars, but I just really enjoy that car. Love the look.
RX-7s are dope, man. Rotary engine, all kinds of cool features.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like, I would actually want that car, but kind of dream car, definitely the Wraith car. Like, it's like so cool. I want a car that looks like kind of like a handheld vacuum.
Dustbuster mobile.
Yeah.
It really does look like a handheld vacuum. Yeah, it does. With a sick paint job.
Absolutely,
yeah. This movie proposes some interesting additives to tea.
Okay,
such as urine.
Such as urine. Yeah, she's a little freaky there.
I don't know. That's not for me. Now, what do you think is a good tea additive? What's your favorite additive to a cuppa?
Well, normally I add a little drop of Clarissa's pee every time, but
usually,
yeah. I think I have always been a honey with tea person. I know it's a little bit more work to stir it and whatnot and get it all incorporated, but they go together so well, especially Earl Grey and honey. Big fan of Earl Grey honey and lemon. Thumbs up to me, man. So good.
I bet there's some redcoat getting pissed
right now. They're mad as hell, huh?
That's not how you drink a proper cuppa.
I know, but that's how I drink it. What about you?
I like an Earl Grey with a milk. I had never been like
that's really good.
A milk with tea person. I always put dairy with coffee, but a couple of years ago, a friend introduced me to the joys of a hot tea with milk in it, and it does something amazing. Like the tea flavors kind of hit with the fatty content of the milk in there and do some wonderful things for me.
Yeah, that's a thing. I totally understand black coffee people who are like, I like, this very concentrated bean juice as is. But when you add cream to certain coffees, it does things to the flavor. It makes flavors come out that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I that you're right. It is the like play of the like fats in the milk and whatever different flavors are in there. I mean, it's great. You're right. Earl Grey with milk.
Totally.
Thumbs up.
Now, a little piggyback question on that one. Best drink to pee in?
Oh, yeah. Huh. Well, are you trying to hide it or you want them to know?
Highlight it? I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. It kind of depends on the intent of the user.
Yeah. I mean, because, you could probably pee in Southern sweet tea and get away with it.
You wouldn't notice.
They wouldn't notice. They'd be like, this tastes sweet. That's what it always tastes like, yeah.
You know what I would totally fucking piss in as a proper Southerner?
What's that?
Goddamn pre-bottled Nest tea.
Yuck.
Nasty is more like it. Piss on that.
It is, yeah. It doesn't even taste like leaves in water.
Awful.
It just tastes like
it's just
water.
Brown. Yeah. Brown sugar water.
It tastes like brown.
Yuck. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Weirdest moms. We got a weird mom in this movie, don't
we? We do, but
a couple of them actually.
Yeah, see, there's a few odd moms. One that has sex with her children. So that's definitely
weird.
Yeah. And the other one doesn't say a whole lot, but she seems to eat a lot of hair.
Hairball problem on that
one. Yeah. There's a lot of weird mom characters throughout. I think, of course, we got our sleepaway camp.
That was where I was going to. Like, she's an aunt, but she's a surrogate mom, and she ain't normal at all.
Well, and she's what's his name's mom.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky. That's all right. So that I think is the one who comes to mind immediately. But you hear about this Norman Bates's mom?
You know,
she turned into a skeleton and kept telling him to kill people.
I mean, she's committed to her work, obviously.
I didn't understand when he came out in that dress. What was that all about?
I don't know. I don't think she raised him quite right.
Right? What's happening in this movie?
What's going on here, man? I'll tell you what's happening in this movie. Whole lot of squelching. Dude, we watched this with the subtitles on last night, and the game is every time the word squelch is on subtitles, take a shot.
Oh, no.
You're gonna be drunk, son.
Yeah.
You die. You're gonna be die.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a favorite squelch movie?
Well, a lot of squelching in a particular scene in The Mouth of Madness when all those creatures are coming up from the abyss. They're squelching like crazy. Yeah. Also, the
wall of squelch.
Very squelchy.
Now, what do you know about the master of the squelch, one Cronenberg? What about a fly?
Yeah, they call him Squelch. I hear. They're like, hey, what up, Squelch? What are we gonna do? We're gonna put some more squelches in this? Ha 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 ha. They say.
Ha ha lol. Yeah, that's definitely a squelch one. As is that Crimes of the Future. That had some pretty damp squelchy noises in that
damp. That is a good description of that movie. Pretty damp.
Pretty damp. Maybe squashing away in there.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I agree.
It's a lot to handle at times, man. Yeah, Cronenberg, the squelch master for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Last question. You ready?
Let's hear it.
The effects man on board for this one was one screaming, mad George. Not only a guy what knows his way around a special effect, he also know his way around a sick-ass nickname.
That's right.
If you were a special effectman, what is your sick-ass nickname, dude?
Ooh.
Squelch Master Steve? Is that what
Squelching Steve might do it. Sure. Yeah.
Because you summon up the buffalo dip for all the sound effects.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I got you guys. I'm over there stirring up a crock pot. Also got lunch. No worries.
No worries at all. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I might be the guy that pees in all the tea and I'm TP Ben. I don't know. I don't think I'd get a lot of work, though, if that was my reputation.
People are like, oh, that's the guy to go to for TP. And then everybody else is like, no, not that.
I might be really bad on a movie set on account of my super ADHD-ness. I might be barely paying attention Ben. That might be my name on there. I don't know. You've worked with me a lot. You know how that is. Yeah, old barely paying attention Ben.
You wouldn't even get through the nickname. You wouldn't know they were calling you that. You just hear them say Ben at the end and go, huh? What?
Oh, what? Huh? Yeah, sure. All right, I'm ready. I like to party.
Yeah, listen, that's always a good answer. If you weren't paying attention, say I like to party. People are going to be like, hell yeah.
Oh, you know what? Or maybe that just leads to Butthead Ben.
No, okay, Butthead Ben. That's a good one.
Butthead Ben.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially if I was on the set of one Society from what, 1980?
1989 in the UK. 1989. Didn't come out until 92 here in the States.
Whoa. That'd be weird to see this in 92. That seems late.
Yeah,
this just reeks of 80s to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, there's definitely like... There's some questionable choices that were made with, distributing this, but it did really well in Europe in 89. No reason to hold off 3 years, but they sure did.
They do things a little different over there. I could see why they get into this one,
Absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely like... I can see somebody thinking, oh, American audiences won't like this. Though, it seems more likely somebody with money is like, I don't want people watching this.
Ooh.
I'm not saying a conspiracy. I'm not saying a conspiracy necessarily, but definitely an interesting fact that Brian Usna was contracted, or they were trying to contract him to make a sequel to Reanimator. But he convinced them to contract him for a 2-picture deal, and he wanted to make the second picture first. And the second picture was Society.
Oh. I got something to say, he said, as if he was at the first of a Def Leppard song.
Yeah.
I got something to say.
He basically knew, like, well, they really want me to make Bride of Reanimator, so I can get away with a lot of stuff here, probably.
Boy, howdy.
Man, he sure did. He sure did. Yeah.
He did some stuff, man. Brian Usna, he was a topic of discussion on the show not too long ago because I just watched Suitable Flesh.
Right. Yeah, and
which is so fun.
He also, we've talked about him last year around this time when we did From Beyond.
That's right. The guy's tone is very particular. It is this weird, surreal, dreamlike, goofy, mad, horny. I don't know how to describe it. Like he has that feel that even some of the Giallo stuff does, where it feels like this wasn't written by someone who speaks this language or is even possibly a human and understands how humans talk and do blocking in scenes and converse
you think his
with each other.
blocking's weird?
Dude, just everything about what he does is just strange. Like it just feels alien and dreamlike in a lot of ways to me.
Well,
like all of his
he really was leaning into the surreal for this, and specifically was asking, Screaming Mad George kind of leaned into Dali for a lot of the look, especially the shunting there at the end, which is clearly what is that called? The masturbators?
I can't remember. I was trying to remember because there's one scene in there where it's like this weird, it's just like this wall of like dangling appendages. Right. It's like this weird stilt appendage creature. And there's that particular Dali painting, and I cannot remember which one it is. But straight out of that. Yeah,
so he was leaning toward that, and he bent the script to the effects. Like, he bent the script to be more surreal. The original script was more of a whodunit slasher, and the ending was that these rich people were a cult and they were going to sacrifice Bill. So that doesn't necessarily end in a lot of surreal effects. So they went into it basically coming up with ideas for good surreal effects and then bending stuff to make that work. And then they went back and added the psychiatrist scenes to kind of have some exposition to make each of the scenes go together, as well as that opening dream sequence, which feels kind of Nightmare on Elm Street-y, which kind of sets up a lot of the themes throughout. So they followed some of the script, which is written by Zeph E. Daniel and Rick Fry. And Zeph E. Daniel grew up in Beverly Hills, and like a lot of the characters were based off people he actually knew. So
that's disturbing.
So they kept definitely a lot of like vibe of Beverly Hills is fucked up, rich people are fucked up. But then also we're bending it to make it more surreal and more dreamlike and more weird. And I think that's better. I don't think they should have followed the script. I think I prefer the final product, but it does result in some issues with, I think so, some of the things that are going, because there's definitely some pacing issues, especially in the middle, where if it were a whodunit, you'd be more invested in like all this action that's going on, but it's not a whodunit. And it doesn't even have that feel. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't think that, who did this? I thought, what's happening and who's doing it? Which is a different question entirely, different question, And so I think that, the middle is kind of like, it's just not enough in conjunction with everything that happens in the opening and the end, because the opening and end are wild. Like, there's so much stuff
bizarre.
we go through. Yeah,
super surreal. Yeah.
I think that in the end, this is a movie that I still love and always will watch. But I was surprised watching through this time that it's definitely got pacing issues, and I'm kind of bored in the middle of the movie.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Like, I watched this for the first time probably around the time that we started the podcast, and I didn't know anything about it. It was probably one of the first Yuzna movies that I watched.
Right.
And I remember watching it really late at night by myself one time and just being like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And just being kind of like shocked and awed through the whole thing. And this is only the second time that I've watched it.
Okay.
I've not watched it again since then because I figured we'd do it on the show at some point.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to stay kind of fresh on it. And there's definitely some pacing issues and some things that I didn't really remember from the first watch. Like, after you leave it that first time, you're remembering the weirdest parts of this movie. Like, you're remembering fucking back boobs and contorted bodies and peeing in the tea and the shunting.
Yes.
And then you're kind of forgetting a lot of the meandering stuff there in the middle of the movie with, like, debate team scenes and shit like that.
Yeah.
In a way, this movie was less weird the second time around. I mean, it's still super fucking weird, but it was not as weird as I remembered.
Yeah, each time I watched it, it got less and less weird, and the message becomes more and more overt and obvious and good. Like, I'm glad it's saying what it's saying, but it's not as weird as it is the first time around. Once you really are, you know what you're watching, you know that they are this alien race, that the wealthy are alien to the rest of us and monstrous, and they're a large,
feeding
faceless
off the lower classes.
Conglomerate that feeds off the lower classes. Yes, but the first time you watch it through, you don't know what's happening, and as you said, like, as I said, it's not so much a whodunit, and as you said, you really are just kind of watching it, going, huh. Each time things happen. Like, what? Yeah.
But the intro especially is so promising. It has that weird, surreal dream scene, and then even the opening credits, which are just over this weird, like, unintelligible mishmash of body parts. And blood and fluids and weird shit, and with this bizarre-ass soundtrack over it. You're like, what the fuck? Like, what in the name of Cronenberg am I watching here?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I talked a little bit about the production, but let's talk just a little more about Yuzna. I don't know how to pronounce it. Brian Yuzna. He used to live on a commune in the 70s, and that Eat the Rich shirt that you see, what's his name, Milo wearing in the party scene was his shirt. Brian used this shirt. So, no ambiguity about what this movie's tack is on all this. Like they're definitely, he's definitely going anti-capitalist. He's definitely saying the rich are this, like, faceless blob. When you think you're beating one rich person, you're really not fighting the actual problem, which is wealth, which is just this thing that turns people into these monstrous, consumers that consume the poor and siphon off everything that the poor could possibly ever want. And
also driving at the sexual and reproductive elements of the inbreeding of high society, and how they only fuck within that own circle and reproduce within that circle of themselves.
Yeah. Anytime you think, you have a story of somebody breaking through and becoming rich or whatever, look into the story. They didn't break through. They were already rich. They were already rich.
Like that new pop star that just came out with some incredible new song. Yeah, she had a lot of help.
Yeah,
whole lot of help.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's definitely one of those things that's just saying, like, it's one big club and you ain't in it. And I really love that type of message. And this is, Reagan era a little bit post 89 would have been Bush. Yeah, this is just a Reagan era, anti-yuppie, anti-greed, anti-wealth statement that is shown by, having a guy stick his fist up a man's ass and it coming out of his face and then them melding together for a long period of time.
It's a weird way to tell that particular message, but It is effective.
Yeah, honestly, I think like there's symbolism there that like, even if the rich will allow you into their group for any period of time, they're going to use you as a puppet until they've used you all up, until they've consumed you entirely. And you'll never be a part of their group any more than, anybody else who didn't get that moment in the sun to be considered rich for as long as they wanted you to be.
Right. Well, and it also speaks very much of, which we just see more and more and more of every time some headline breaks and it's about some, fucking person that's on an Epstein list or something like that. Where you're like, wow, when you have that much money and power and influence, you just gotta make up fucked up stuff to do.
Yeah.
Which apparently is something people do. Yeah. People just can't be getting a blowjob or doing missionary no more once you get a certain amount of money.
Right.
Come on, it's still fun.
Nope. Loses all fun at that point.
Shit, I never want to be that rich.
No, and nobody should be. Yeah, I think, the entire, like, ethos of the movie is wealth is the problem. Like, it's not each of these individual elements, like the judge or the psychiatrist or the parent or whatever. They all are one thing, and it is wealth itself. And I think the movie makes that point very overt, very, very clear, etc. It also has other things going on that, as you said, the incest element, like, gosh, it's one thing to know, like, yeah, it's a real, like, insular group of people who are marrying and intermarrying and whatnot. But to remember that this is the year that the Menendez brothers killed their father, who had been sexually assaulting them their entire lives. And they were Beverly Hills rich people.
Yeah. Ooh, God, that is some dark timing, is it not?
Is it not? Right?
Actually, hadn't considered that angle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't discovered or tried at that point, so it definitely. Again, as I said, this is Zeph Daniels' experience growing up in Beverly Hills 2 being reflected, not necessarily the aliens, etc. That was all thrown in by Yuzna and Screaming Mad George, which is great and the best part, I think, honestly. But the story he was telling before is about this very much. Like, I mean, in fact, it's about a guy who is adopted to be a sacrificial lamb in the future.
Yeah.
And like, think about all the rich people who adopt kids to look like, legit and like they care.
That's true.
And, what happens to those kids when they grow up? And are they used as, the fall guy oftentimes? I mean, you see that in mafia movies. Again, mafia movies, not real life, but you see that, and it's a concept, and it certainly has been followed through on by rich people in the past of putting all your nonsense on the kid you don't like.
And I like that they're telling this story in this commentary on the super, super elite in what had to be like the most elitist of places in the late 80s in the States, like Beverly Hills, snobby ass private schools, coming out balls, like all of this rich people bullshit. Like, there was probably no better place to set this. Everybody in this movie is super fucking loaded, super wealthy, super snobby, private school. Dickheads.
I mean, just think about this. And these are subtle things that they do to show just how wealthy they are. This is a 17-year-old who has a brand new Jeep and a vanity license plate that says Hoops.
Hoop.
Now, you're saying to me, Hollywood Steve, that's no big deal. I could go get that right now here in Illinois. Yeah, you could maybe in Illinois. But guess what? In California, they have 4 NBA teams. You're trying to tell me of the 50 plus individuals on those teams. Not one of them, after the first person got baller and the next person was like, oh, I guess I'll go with balla, and then the next person got whatever else. Eventually, at some point, one of them would land on hoops, but this rich kid got it.
Very important kid.
And also,
very important.
Even, we're showing Milo is supposed to be the good kid, but when they get to the hospital, he parks his Beamer in a handicap spot.
It blatantly shows us that overhead, so you can see
it's a handicap
this
spot.
rich shithead kid doesn't even care.
Yeah. Even the kid that we're supposed to be kind of rooting for, he's detached. He doesn't care. Like it's like watching an alien species, even with the people we're supposed to be rooting for, because they're still wealthy, even if they're not part of this particular alien species.
Right. They're still set apart from the people who won't do that, because they either, for one, care about giving access to people that actually need to use handicap spots, or care about the fact that, like, oh shit, I'll be given a fine, and paying out money for tickets actually affects me. Unlike super rich people, where it's like, so what, you've given me a slight inconvenience to make a phone call and pay a ticket?
Yeah, that's how much it costs to park here, I see. Also, I know the judge, so this isn't I'm not even gonna deal with this personally. I'm gonna hand it to someone else to deal with, and it'll go away.
It's very much a morally gray kind of movie. Like, we don't really have anybody in here who's necessarily a great wholesome ass person. I mean, Billy, who's our main character guy, he was kind of raised among them. But ultimately he's a victim in this. And it's funny, man, because I was watching this thinking about how this does have so many of like my bizarre ass fever dream rooted childhood fear buttons.
Absolutely.
Sometime a long time ago on the show, I told that story about this like fever dream I had when I was a kid, that my parents were aliens and they were raising me to eat me. Like, I was a human kid they found, and they were just raising me as part of some kind of meal. And I think that entire like conspiratorial, being the center of the sacrifice but not knowing it angle has somehow stuck in the back of my head my entire life. And that's why movies like Hereditary just fucking annihilate me. Which, weirdly enough, this movie kind of has some stuff in common with Hereditary.
Absolutely, it does. And, like, I think it's interesting. The psychiatrist at one point does say, like, teenagers often feel alienated from those closest to them. So the movie presents you with a pretty rational, like, oh, he's just a teenager. He's having growing pains, or he's learning to be his own self and kind of differentiating himself from his family, etc. And that's, all a pretty rational way of looking at it. I love that the movie doesn't leave ambiguity at the end. There's no, maybe he was wrong. I love that the movie's like, nope. It's an alien species that does this interesting shunting thing.
Yeah, that was the thing about this movie, is you can watch it for a while, kind of like Hereditary again, where you can watch that movie and be like, maybe this is all in Toni Collette's head, and she has inherited this schizophrenia from her family, and maybe nothing she's seeing is real here. Because this movie plays with that a lot, with him going to the psychiatrist and telling him about these crazy dreams and things he's been seeing, but then the camera will show us his eye view of things, like his sister's sweaty back and pulsating back skin, and then the next shot shows it wasn't there. So it kind of keeps you guessing, like, is this really happening or not? But then at the end, you're like, oh no, this was happening.
You see the sister through the like pebbled glass shower door, and her boobs are on her back or whatever. But it's also like,
don't get me wrong, hell of a view. If you can get the boobs and the butt,
it's a great view. Pretty rad. That's a good point.
Great view.
But like, that could be excusable by like, oh, well, he was just, seeing things weird because he was looking through the glass door or whatever. Like, they do a pretty good job of leading along there for a bit of like, is he losing it? And that's why the middle, I think, doesn't work great for me, because we're already there. We're already at the point where we're like, is he losing it? Like, get to it. Get on. Like, you don't have to keep drawing me in. I'm already drawn in.
Yeah, it seems to be trying to drag you along, and you're like, "No, I'm here.
I'm with you, man.
What's going
I'm
on?
with you. Leslie. Yeah, what's happening?"
I like too with the alien rich people that we get here. It never goes full on like they step into the mothership and fly off in a flying saucer at the
They're
end,
not going
or they tell
anywhere.
some story about how they landed here on a comet. Like the word alien is used, but even alien can just mean foreign, separated, different than.
Because they say we've been here as long as you've been here.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean from outer space.
Right.
And elites have existed for all of human history. Yeah.
Well, not all of human history. There was certainly a time where if you said you deserved more berries, you got punched in the face and didn't get berries. But
now, hang on. I remember in the Bible there was always kings and people in the power what had all the shekels.
You're right. So the world is 6,000 years old. You are correct.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. But I like that it never goes full sci-fi.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. Yeah, we don't know, exactly what it means and what they are. Because if they've been here as long as us, they're no more alien than we are, right?
Right.
But alien in that sense that yes, they are fully alienated from the rest of society. Calling it society is interesting because you hear the term high society. You never hear the term low society or mid society, because society, the society that matters, is them. They are society
only for the elite.
Yeah, they maintain communication, which is something society needs, is actually communicating with one another and directing society toward the goals and needs of all the people. And that is happening for rich people. They have a society.
Right. The other people don't get to sit down and play the game.
Exactly. Their primary goal is making sure we never get to actually play the game. And they're nailing it. They're killing us. Just constantly.
And that's something that's even said to Billy there towards the end of the movie during the shunting. He's like, "You'll never be one of us. You can never be one of us. Like, you're separate from us."
Yes. Like, okay, think about this. And I really, like, people oftentimes on the internet point out, like, how impossible it would be to make as much money as Elon Musk has, for instance. But think about this. Elon Musk is not, he didn't come out of a void. His father owns an emerald mine.
Hang on now. He's a genius inventor, Steve.
Yeah. You don't get
story right
to a level of wealth on your own. Like, wealth is generational. So if you want to say, be super wealthy, I'm sorry. Your grandchildren could be. You're probably not going to be. But that's it. Yeah. It takes generations. It takes time. It takes excess. It takes all sorts of things.
Dynasties, bloodlines.
And even then, they won't accept you because you're new rich.
That's true. Yeah.
Even then, you're not a part of the group. You're not making the decisions. You are not the decider.
Would you say this is a body horror movie?
It is somewhat, but I don't feel like... I feel like other than the shunting moment itself with the guy, what's his name? The guy who was in the van who gets consumed. David, is that his name?
David? Yeah, but they call him like what's it, Breckle or something? They call him his last name.
Blanchard. Yeah, this is his last name. Yeah. So aside from that moment, all of the body horror itself is pleasure to the people that it's happening to.
And so it's kind of silly.
It's kind of silly. And in fact, the actor who played David Blanchard, Tim Bartel, apparently he played it so well that they really had to cut out his actual pained reactions because they didn't want it to be that. They wanted it to be sillier.
Okay, yeah.
So,
well, I mean, obviously when you got scenes in there guess I am a real butthead, huh? They're obviously going for some humor in this.
Yeah, and when you have the protagonist of the movie stick his hand up a man's ass and grab his head and pull it out the other way. And that's your victorious ending. Like,
that is some Mortal Kombat shit.
You're going for absurd humor for sure.
Dude, and I love too how they go back and like show it a few times. Just this inside out worm-ridden skin sack where he has fisted this guy and turned him inside out.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I know what you mean though. It's kind of hard to be like, yeah, it's body horror, but it's also kind of silly in a lot of ways, but at the same time, like, it's so fucked up, man. The mom creature has like the daughter's face as a vagina later in the movie.
It's real. Yeah.
That's a Freudian nightmare, Oedipal nightmare.
The thing that like really was hitting me on my most recent watch here was that opening bit where he sees the worms on the apple. If everything he sees is true, that means that what he was seeing just then was like a part of the psychiatrist. Like they can be whatever they want. They can change into whatever they want. And so it makes then the character that we talked about a little in the preview palace, the what's her name? The cute girl. How does that help?
Yeah.
Clarissa's mom. All the more confusing. She's one of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, dude. So that's a question that I had, because initially when you see her in the movie is on that beach scene and you have no context for who this character is that Billy just ran into. It's just like, whoa, some like
tall lady,
lumbering mute lady with crazy ass hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And then later on, whenever he and Clarissa have been fooling around, the mom comes in and like hacks up that hairball and hands it to him. And then it seems like she has some kind of fixation on hair and will go after eating people's hair. But she doesn't talk. She just kind of grunts and she looks real wild. I didn't know if maybe this was some kind of comment on like the inbreeding of this group yielded that character. I have no fucking clue what was going on there.
Yeah, I was a little bit thinking that might be it, but it's also like, it seems that they simply change shape and form. Like the one guy, actually 2 different people die in this and then are brought back. So like, they have some sort of powers. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of mortality they have to deal with. Like even the guy getting turned inside out at the end, it's like, well, yeah, he probably has done that for fun. Like they do that. They turn into a big puddle. Like that seems like right up his alley.
Seemed to have a good time with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So then why would this character be dumb? They're all the same.
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
It's real strange. And that's the thing with Yuzna, man. There's moments in his movies that I know are there to be funny. And then there's parts in the movies where I'm like, I don't know if this is supposed to be funny or not. I feel like he's the kind of guy that will be fun and goofy to hang around and then drive it in some absurd ass direction just to amuse himself and see people get uncomfortable, then get it right back on the road again.
Well, okay, so I was really thinking about the mom, and I do think that maybe there's something they're getting at there, where with the rich, they, as I said before, they'll often have the kid that they kind of lay everything on if they have to at a certain point. They have the black sheep, you know? They have the people who don't fit. And she kind of, I think, represents that. Like, she's a part of them, but they don't want her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be, man. Could be. Yeah, she was an odd character in there.
It's an interesting choice. Yeah, like, what is going on here?
There's some lines that had me cracking up, man. There's one part in there, I can't remember which chick says it, but she's talking about one of the dudes. And she says, like, you're going to have she's...
All the boys popping high ones.
Popping high ones, dude. I'm glad you picked up on what my sleepy ass could not conjure up. Popping high ones is one of my favorite expressions, dude.
It really is.
High ones.
And honestly, like, it's very generous to whoever is getting the erection, right? You're like, whoa, that's a high one. Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, buddy.
Way to go. Diving board.
If you lay down, you'd be touching the ceiling.
Lean mean jelly bean. Like some of those lines are so goofy as fuck. And then really it's just followed up with like lines like, what do you want in your tea? Milk, sugar, or do you want me to pee in it?
Yeah.
Like, what? What was that now?
Well, I mean, listen, I think a gal like Clarissa, she's probably had a few people approach her and be like, hey, could you pee in this teacup?
No, not for me.
No, not for me.
It's not for somebody. Not for me.
No, not interested. Not a good additive to tea either.
I wouldn't imagine. No.
Mm-mm.
So strange, man. This movie, with its dreamlike feel but overall fucking goofiness, it reminds me of like if you asked David Lynch to like write down a quick movie idea on a napkin when he was just in a silly mood, just feeling goofy.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Silly David Lynch.
Yeah, it does now that because it's got the mystery element at the center, and then the weird lines, etc., odd characters showing up out of nowhere,
dream stuff,
and an ending you couldn't exactly predict. Yeah.
It's also got some heavy, like Lynchian synth in the soundtrack too. That was really unnerving. I like the synth stuff in the soundtrack a lot.
Soundtrack's
and what
really
about that damn Eton boating song? What is that?
The Eton boating song. That's the tune that we hear in the opening song and throughout over and over. The lyrics, however, have been changed, and I just want to read the lyrics, sans chorus. I'm just going to read the what do you call it? The verses. When you're tired of winning, when you get tired of fame, or when your head is spinning and you've drunk all the best champagne, oh how we all get richer playing the ruling game. Only the poor get poorer. We feed off them all the same. Some may call us sinners. We think of ourselves as saints. Some may call us killers. It's done with such restraint.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's fucked up. That's the movie, really.
Yeah, and connecting it to Eton or any, of those types of schools, colleges, etc. Great call. You got a person in a Harvard sweater on the beach, etc. Like it's clear. Like this is the future ruling class. These are the people we have to look forward to making decisions, etc.
Well, they've got positions in Washington waiting for them.
Exactly. That's the ending of the film. Is that exact line that you're gonna see these people in Washington, and that's. I mean, it's interesting to say, as we have, that this is not subtle at all. It's not subtle at all. But also, I could guarantee you talk to, about 5 out of 10 people, they wouldn't get the message out of this. They wouldn't understand it. It's actually so foreign, the concept that this is a representation of all rich people. All rich people are like this, etc. They'd be like, oh, them weirdos in California, am I right? Good thing we don't have to deal with them. We got our own rich. Marsha Blackburn, she just made money off of them pills. That ain't nothing.
Jesus Christ, man. Ain't the same at all. Wow, dude. Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding. What do you think about the cast in this? Not necessarily a ton of familiar faces.
Yeah, not a lot of recognizable faces. Other than his original girlfriend has been in 2 movies we've covered. Slumber Party Massacre 2, she was the drummer. And Friday the 13th Part 7, she was the skinny dipper who got killed.
Oh, shit. The drummer from... Yeah.
But
now I remember.
Yeah. Billy Warlock, our star, is the son of Dick Warlock of stuntman fame, including being Michael Myers in most of the shots in Halloween 2. Yeah. Billy Warlock is well known for soap opera acting at this point. But
30-something years of soap opera career with that guy.
Yeah, he's really been killing it in that soap opera game, which, by the way, good work if you can get it. But yeah, it's interesting that the hospital that they shot in is the same hospital from Halloween 2, starring Dick Warlock as the Shape.
No shit.
Yeah. So that's fun.
It's a family tradition, huh?
Yeah, it's cool stuff. I like that. But yeah, there's
Warlocks in the hospital.
Not a lot of big names in this. Warlocks in a hospital.
Yeah, like not a lot of big names, but everybody gets the tone of this movie, which is weird as shit. Like everybody does this surreal, kind of goofy, totally horny, weird vibe. Like everybody understood the assignment.
His mom understands the assignment the most. She is horny every scene. And maybe I'm projecting because her tits are almost out in every scene, but I feel like that's what the actress was going for. She was like, no, like if I'm doing incest with my daughter and my son, etc., then like I'm probably gonna be projecting that all the time. I'm not
all the fucking time.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's done really well. Milo, I think is a good like addition because he has that thing that I hate, but is also just a huge element of like mid to late 80s and early 90s comedy / horror is the incel best friend.
Right.
Who like for some reason is just like totally dogging on Clarissa out of nowhere. And like, I was just like, wait a second. Is he jealous? Is he like jealous of this girl? And just like we talked about with Fright Night 2011 with, McLovin being this sort of incel character and then like having that less gay than the original Fright Night, but still obviously kind of gay coded scene where he's turned into a vampire. Mm-hmm. And I just like, I wonder if that was always a thing that writers were kind of going for with some of the best friends who are very invested in their same-sex best friend's life.
Right. And we saw that like a lot in, I think, a lot of kids' movies and stuff where you have one kid that didn't grow up as fast as his buddy who got interested in girls before he did.
Yeah, and we've seen that redone in Stranger Things, and of course they went the direction we're talking about with, well, that character's actually, this is a gay character. And I'm not sure that is fully coming through here, but I was just questioning that scene, like, wait, why is he mad at Clarissa? She didn't do anything. She's just hot. Like, what? I very interesting moment. But the Milo character's played really well and is interesting. I think overall, even the guy he's like going for student president against, what is that character's name?
The kind of dweeb guy.
Yeah, he gets like fake killed or real killed or whatever they do, these shapeshifters, and then comes back. That guy, he knows his strengths as this like nerdy, hateable character. He's really playing them up. I think, as you said, even though this isn't like big name cast, everybody understood the assignment for the film and really took it kind of over the top the way it should be.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for when they were trying to get everybody in the right headspace to film that shunting scene where it's like, all right, everybody, here's where you're going to strip down to your drawers. George here is going to cover you in KY jelly.
Just so much.
Go into this room that is like nothing but, red lamps, almost like heat lamps you put above your iguana. Can you imagine how fucking fried your eyes would be after filming on that set for a day?
Seriously, yeah.
Dude, the red light that they went with during the shunting scene is so mad effective.
It is.
The movie has been very brightly lit, almost kind of soap opera lighting for a lot of it, like Yuzna likes to do in his flicks. And then when it gets to the shunting scene and everything is this super intense red, dude, it was frying my eyes. Like I would look down at my Remarkable to make notes and I'd be like, God damn, this thing looks like it's green because my eyes were so nuked by that. It's almost like it adds to the sensory overload of everything that's going on in that scene, which is just fucking bonkers.
Yeah, I did read. Yeah, a lot of people had kind of just be in the same position, covered in KY jelly for several hours for that day. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun, but the final product is like so good. It's so good. It's so gross and so like just really perfectly captures that idea of all the flesh just becoming one and interchanging like characteristics. Like the judge has the beauty mark after they've been kind of one for
absorbed,
a little while.
I guess. Yeah. And now that I think about it too, I wonder if they went with the red light for the same reason that like brothels and sex clubs and stuff will do it, because it hides imperfections on skin tones.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it masks some of the effects a little bit, because some of them, like I think it's the judge character that has the very like Joker looking face on him.
Oh, that's the psychiatrist. Yeah.
Psychiatrist, that's him. Like, whenever he's in the more regular kind of lighting, you can really see the prosthetic that's on him.
Yes, you
but
can.
Underneath that red light, it looks less visible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe that's something to do with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think not only does it smooth out a lot of things, as you said, but yeah, it does, because this is a very sexual moment. Not sexy, but sexual. I think that red light addition does exactly what you're saying, and I do wonder if they intended for that connection of red light district type of stuff, because you're right, it does exactly that. It gets rid of the imperfections, which works perfectly if you've also got seams and stuff you want to hide that as a makeup artist.
That scene is iconic, and obviously, the highlight of the movie. I mean, even the poster and the DVD case for this thing is the melted together, flesh, all these faces coming together to form this shunting scene. And it is batshit fucking crazy. You got people really sticking their arms up asses. And there's a guy with a big hand for a head.
Yeah,
what?
I love, once he goes upstairs and you have the psychiatrist whose head becomes a hand, and then the mom who, she has male arms for legs, her daughter's head for a pussy, and then just no arms up top. She's got just the weirdest proportion, and then the dad is an ass head, and I think all of that, the shunting itself is interesting, but when you get to seeing the individuals, like head become a hand, etc., all those things, they really highlight how good and interesting Screaming Mad George's stuff is, because it's so weird, like such a strange idea to put together those particular features, and it does the job of being like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Oh, yeah. And his work is very distinct. We know it from Elm Street.
Oh,
and
so many great
other
things. By the way, if Anna and I did Hell Rankers on Silent Night, Deadly Night last year in December. He is the effects coordinator on 4 and 5, which we both were blown away by. Not necessarily the greatest movies in the world, but what they do in them. And 4 is directed by Yuzna. So, I recommend, if you have not, because, you've seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Fucked up Santa, cool. And then Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, it's like, oh, okay, so this is just replaying so much of the first movie. And then having a guy say Garbage Day. But push past that to get yourself to 4 and 5. Those movies rule. They're so interesting and weird, especially 5 is just such a weird flick. I really recommend.
I need to check it out.
Yeah. And 5
especially
also
to see more of those effects.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 also has that nerdy guy I was talking about. He plays one of the main roles. So check those out. They're so fun.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, his effects work is just very distinct. He does really great with these bizarre, stretchy, surreal, almost cartoonish flesh applications, which we see in this, and also his work with Elm Street as well. Seems to be a real specialty of his, is melted people.
He did the cockroach scene in Elm Street 4, right? He's real good at making some just odd body horror creations.
Nightmarish.
Love it.
Yeah, weird fever dream ass shit. Even in this movie, at its weirdest points, like the shunting scene or the weird backwards body parts on some of the girls and all that, it just has that distinctly childhood fever dream feel where you think of something and you're like, that was weird. That was also kind of silly. Why did my brain conjure that up? That's so strange. Like, it's a really particular, hard to describe tone, and this does it really, really well to me.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, like, yeah, nothing looks Muppet-ish. Nothing looks rubbery in the bad way. Everything looks like real enough that it makes you uncomfortable. And I like that. Yeah. There's one little element that I had kind of forgotten about, and it just crossed my mind again. So we got our I guess, sort of bad guy. The main bad guy's the judge, but you've also got Ted the Tycoon Ferguson. It sounds like a WWE wrestler, but
that's totally a wrestler name, man.
Yeah, he has in his entourage, and I really think this is intentional. There's this cute redhead who's in his entourage who says nothing, but the first time we see her hair is kind of high.
Yes.
And the next time we see her hair is higher. And by the last time you see her hair is straight up. It
looks like a Poison album cover by the end of the movie.
Yes.
Sky high. Yes, dude. I know exactly who you're talking about. I saw her in that scene and I was like, what the fuck is up with this hair?
I love all the background details. Like,
yeah,
there's just so much thought put into what's on the screen. And I think, like, you know, I see there's flaws in the movie, but I think so much of it is just that, like, Yuzna is not so interested in everything coming together perfectly. He's interested in making sure you take a lot away from it. You're going to, like, remember each of these scenes. Like, From Beyond, like, that, he didn't direct that, he produced that, but From Beyond, just like, it's got a story, and I can kind of remember it as we're talking a little bit right now, but I can remember so vividly so many of the images. Same with Return of the Living Dead 3, which Yuzna directed. Like, same with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which he produced with Stuart Gordon. Like,
that's right. That's the one that everybody has seen,
Gordon.
Right?
Yeah. Like, there's so much imagery that just sticks with you, and even if, say, you know, the mid 15 minutes could be cut, it's like, whatever. Totally. I am enjoying everything that's happening.
I'm impressed by the tone that he musters up, you know? Like, I totally understand this weird, I don't know, I'd call it like surreal soap opera style of a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
I totally understand if that doesn't appeal to a lot of people. That is a really particular thing.
It is.
But I think that everything that he lays out for us, that is that hard to nail down tone and that weird surrealist shit, it's all extremely intentional and all very controlled. Like, that is coming out exactly the way he intended to. He didn't intend for this to be realistic human dialogue. He didn't intend for this to be normal lighting and, you know, nothing that is, like, recognizable to humans. I think that it is all a very intentional thing on his part.
No, I agree with you. It's fun. It's, you know, as you said, there's a lot of dark humor throughout. I just, like, he's on a level that I very much enjoy. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. As I said, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 is great. It doesn't matter that it's the fourth installment in a really weird franchise. I'm gonna watch it because his name's attached. Like, I am interested in his aesthetic and his ideas. So, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter if everything isn't exactly what you would do. It's what he would do, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool.
It's a very specific niche. Like, it's just Yuzna. Like, if you know his stuff, you know his movies, you really know what you're getting into. And it seems like a lot of the reviews I saw on Suitable Flesh were people that just didn't know that tone, and they're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
This is weird. It's not realistic. Like, the acting is kind of stilted, and it's like, well, yeah, that's just how he does movies.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's good the way it is. Just enjoy it.
Totally, man. Totally. It's an odd one, man. It's not necessarily one I'm going to watch for fun over and over and over.
Yeah, I would agree that the main highlights are kind of early on or late, and
yes,
it is a movie. It's not a background movie in the sense that I don't care what's happening, but it's a good thing to have on in the background if you want to have a weird vibe.
Or maybe clear a party out, you know.
But also, I love the movie. I don't see myself watching it a ton because it's a lot to absorb, and also the message is like, yeah, man. Yes, I agree. I feel powerless to it. That sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
You got any other thoughts on this thing before we rate it?
No.
Go to bed.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to rate it so you can go to bed.
About time to go bed.
I really enjoy this film. I enjoy it a whole bunch. The message is good. There's also some really good moments, but it drags a lot in the middle. I don't really have anyone necessarily to connect to, etc. That's fine. You don't always have to connect to anyone. But I also am just like, it's like watching Game of Thrones in a way where you're like, I hope all these assholes die. Like,
right.
I mean, I know some of you were for Khaleesi, but weirdos. She sucked. Anyway, I think that like, just everything about it really like, it's got all the things I like, but I don't remember the story of this movie. Like, I just don't. I don't remember it. Like, I've watched it several times. I could tell you right now, because I've watched it several times, but if you ask me in 2 weeks, I'll be like, there's a rich kid and his parents are, like, aliens. Like, I don't know all the events that happen in between. There's like a van wreck and like a guy gets his throat cut, and I don't know what that's all about. They both come back to life later.
There's some weird pranks where people put a blow up doll in his car and a Ken doll multiple times.
Yeah, what's that for? But I don't care a ton. So I think for me it's definitely above middle of the road, but not like super high. So I'm gonna say like a 6.
Yeah,
like a 6 for me.
I think that's fair. That's actually right in line with what I was thinking, and I totally level with everything that you say. Where the messaging is cool. There's some very memorable, iconic visual stuff in certain parts of this. But overall, I'm with you. What is the story? I don't know. There's a weird society of rich people that all get into this big melty fuck pool in the end of the movie. It's really strange. Like, does this need to be a movie that's like almost an hour 40? No. Like, this really feels like this could have been a Twilight Zone episode and been a solid, really interesting 45-minute watch on, Cabinet of Curiosities or Twilight Zone, one of those where it's like, well, this wouldn't really fit into a 15-minute anthology segment. I think you need to build the world up more than that, but you could tell this entire story in 45 minutes and get the point across and still be just as effective, in my opinion. And
you'd get to hear Rod Serling go, society is a melting fuck pool.
Yeah, we want that, obviously, right? Yeah, some weird pacing and stuff, and overall just could have been a shorter featurette, but I'm with you. I still enjoy it, and it's fun to show people this movie. So I'm going to say like a 6 for me as well. And that wraps up our November, dude. We got out of Novampire 4 out of 5 vampire movies. 5. This one was a Patreon pick, was it not?
Yeah, it was. Matt Palmer put this in the old bowl, and I'll tell you what,
Palmer,
I'm glad we got to talk about it.
I barely know her.
You don't know? Hi-yo.
Hey-yo.
She's a basketball.
Oh, is that the case?
Yeah.
Palmer.
She wants you to Palmer.
Oh, she wants it.
Yeah, she's into it. Yeah.
Everybody in town palms her, huh? Everybody on the whole basketball team.
Listen, the more you take, the hotter and wetter you get, I say.
Oh, yeah, that's what they say. The more you can stretch or something, too.
The more you stretch, the hotter and wetter you get, yeah.
God, it's a fucking weird movie, man. Good choice, Matt. Other people can also throw in movies to be chosen as the last episode of the month by submitting to the Smoking Bowl over on our Patreon page.
That's right. Patreon.com/Dead and Lovely. Head on over there. Become a patron on any level. You get access to our Patreon exclusive episodes, including our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hell Rankers that will be out around the time this comes out. Also, if you become a patron on a $5 level, you get to throw a movie into the Smoking Bowl, and then we draw into the Smoking Bowl and we cover the movie just like we did today. It's a great time.
Hell yeah. So don't delay, sign up today. Also be sure to sign up to our awesome Facebook group that we got going on over there, full of cool people just like yourself.
That's right.
Our Instagram page, all the other places you guys can find us. Just use the Dead and Lovely Linktree page to find all of them. And be sure to tune in next week. We're getting into December, getting into a little Christmas horror action, are we not?
That's right. And we're doing a remake of a classic that, you know, they've remade twice, and each time I'm like, why? But this one's interesting, and I'm glad we're getting to talk about it. That's all right. Black Christmas 2006.
The middle child of these three same movies, right?
It's a weird one. I'm really interested to see your take on it because it's not 2019 for sure, but it's not the original. It's its own weird thing that is it's got its own fun, I feel like it.
Okay. Well, we'll find out about it. I'm looking forward to it because I've not seen this one before. So hopefully that'll kick off the Christmas season with a good time horror blast. So tune in next week and find out about that one, where I will be hopefully a more well-rested Uncle Ben.
And I will be an exhausted Hollywood Steve.
Oh my God, I'll have to take up the reins and pick up the slack next time.
That's right.
Damn. Yep. And we'll be Dead and Lovely. See you guys then.
Bye.
You know, usually I'll walk into the end of the show with something kind of prepared in advance that's kind of stupid and sort of thought out, like a little bit. It's something I've worked up. I've rehearsed a little bit most of the time. This week I just come to you with a concept that I want to develop more.
Okay, let's find out about it.
So it's something about a really confusing, failing once-a-month publication that keeps the entire world informed of all the news related to bisexuals. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason it's so confusing is because it's called Bi-Weekly. Because it's like a weekly recap of all things bisexual.
Right.
But it's a monthly publication, so it's immensely confusing.
Oh, okay. So it recaps the whole month, but week by week.
Yes.
Okay,
So it's bi-weekly. It's it makes sense, right?
But it actually comes out once a month.
Yeah, bi-weekly, your favorite once-a-month publication on the week-by-week news of the bisexual community. That's our, it's kind of our motto.
Well, I'm going to say this. If your bisexuality only comes out once a month, you might be straight.
Oh!
No, you're still bisexual. You're still valid. Okay. I see you.
But maybe the publication could use a little bit of work if we're really going to reach the most audience, right?
Yeah. Listen, if you want to reach the bisexuals out there that want to know what's happening week to week, but they only got like one time to sit down and really catch up, this is the magazine for them. Your
once a month weekly catch up.
I mean, listen.
Bi-weekly.
Bisexuals walking around with like 3-4 drinks at a time. They can't carry 4 weekly publications to find out.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
There you go. I'll tell you what. So I get it.
And
this is going to sell.
Listen, if you're doing it right, you're too busy fucking all month to be reading 4 magazines. Just fucking everybody.
That's a
everybody.
good point. You know
Indiscriminate.
what? If you're buying right.
You know, if you're doing it right, I think you're going to be too busy. Let's condense it down once a month, all right?
All right. Let's do
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. The once monthly magazine.